I just want to talk to you about something real quick because I want to stay on hip hop for a minute. So I want to talk to you about hip hop. All right. This is my prediction. All right. Out of many predictions, but I know a lot of people in the music business already see it. They just won't admit it, but I'm going to talk about it. And this is what it is. The music business in itself is already dwindling. But honestly and truthfully, I want to speak specifically about New York City, where I'm familiar with. Now, if any of you know, over the past course of, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so, Atlanta has actually taken the mantle as being one of the go-to spots for hip-hop, all right? There's many people that want to argue that, and many people that will have a, discrepancy about that, but it is what it is. Whether we're talking about the Migos, T.I., whoever we're talking about, love them or hate them, these guys for the past 10 years, the most of the sound that people are emulating, including New York rappers, is coming out of Atlanta. Now, we can have that discussion all day, and that's great, but this is how the demographic rolls. Now, with that said, with an already dwindling market in the hip-hop industry and a destination point that many people at one time used to come to New York City for all their hopes and their dreams of becoming an artist and aspiring artists, whatever the case may be, that has now dwindled. Not only because of COVID-19, which had a significant impact on it, but now so only because of that, but also because of another reason. See, even prior to COVID-19, a lot of artists weren't seeking out New York City to come to be their go-to spot, to go to the studio, because now we have things implemented on our phone like I have a studio on my phone, even though I recorded at every freaking, I don't know, like the biggest of studios in New York, one of those being Daddy's House, which I invite all you guys to click my name and then click videos and scroll all the way down to the volume. There's a litany of different videos. I even made sure some of them were open that I previously had locked, so you can go and check them out, see my experiences at Daddy House Studio, see the people that were in there with me, and have fun. And you know what? I actually might just rip them today, put them back up for you guys so you can see them and enjoy yourself and, see my journey and everything like that. Right now in New York City, there's no studios that you can openly go to because of social distancing. There's no touring right now because of social distancing. There is no in stores because of social distancing. There's no meet and greets because of social distancing. Every implied that you would have in the music industry right now has a freaking barrier on it. A literal barrier in New York City, which has caused not only New York City's limelight and continuous flow of people going to, I don't know, anything from museums to everything. What I'm trying to imply to you guys and trying to stress the point to you guys is everything is basically closed the hell down. If you're talking about media or you're talking about the entertainment industry, this runs true for comedians touring and music artists touring. Now, as far as filming, I know that that's a little bit different. They are allowing filming to go on. In fact, Tobey Maguire, if you don't know him from Spider-Man fame, the second Spider-Man, actually ended up starting to film a new movie this past week in New York City. So filming has resumed. And sometime or another, we'll have touring and the clubs will be back open in New York City, etc., etc., etc. But let me tell you how this goes. A lot of people are going to get used to the fact of recording on their phone. A lot of people are going to get used to the fact of going to other parts of the country to tour, perform, etc., to do their openings, to do their album releases, to do their listening parties. They are not going to choose New York City anymore. What they're doing is they're finding alternatives and alternative places to go, whether that be the Midwest, whether that be Florida. I've heard California is slowly stepping up the pace and getting everything back to normal. So there are a lot of different locales throughout the country. Texas will be another one of them. There are a lot of different locales throughout the country that they were hit as hard by COVID-19. They are now becoming new outlets and staplets for music being created. And who knows, maybe 3 years, 4 years from now, we might pick a new city as our destination go-to spot for musicians. And it might not be even Atlanta. I think Atlanta is coming to its standstill. I think Atlanta has hit its peak as the New York of the South, if you want to call it. Some people call it the Hollywood of the South. Some people call it the Manhattan of the South. If you've never been to Atlanta before, Atlanta is a very small area. I went to Atlanta over 3-4 times. We did the BET Hip Hop Awards down there. Shout out to everybody down there, Ken and all you guys. We ended up eating at Gladys Knight's restaurant. We stayed at the La Quinta down there, down in Dunwoody. Shout out to Dunwoody, all the nice people I met down there. I finally got to tour the CNN building downtown, so that was kind of dope. Overall, I had a great time. I went into Kroger's. And I hadn't been into Kroger's in years, you know. So we want to give a shout out to Dunwoody specifically and Atlanta. And I don't want to break anything on them. But if you live in Atlanta or live around the Atlanta area, that'd be South Carolina, Florida, you would know that Atlanta itself is a very small area. Now, the areas outside of Atlanta, if you're talking about Stone Mountain and places like that, they're actually larger. They're more rural, but they're larger than Atlanta itself. But Atlanta itself has suffering a problem. They're starting to become overcrowded. You have people coming from everywhere to go to Atlanta. And there's also somehow seemingly increased the STD rate down there too, because the CDC, which is also located in Atlanta, has proven that. They're saying at one scope, I know at least last year, that Atlanta was one of the biggest places for STDs in the country. Now, I'm not trying to say that was all because of rappers or singers or black people in general, but it has impacted the African-American and Latino portion of the population that is down in Atlanta right now. That's a fact. I mean, you can look it up for yourself. I encourage you to do so. I think a lot of the ages and within the demographic of these people that are catching these STDs sticks out a lot too. So pay attention to that. And specifically among women more so than men transmitting it to women, women transmitting their STDs to men, which I found out not too long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, is more probable for a woman to actually transmit a sexually transmitted disease to a man than it is for a man to transmit an STD to a woman. Look it up. I'm not gonna implore you or try to exaggerate anything like that. But back to what I was saying. The music business, as far as New York City, is going to change, and it's going to change dramatically. I believe, and my prediction is, that the New York City music business as you once knew will be no more. You will find businesses start to find other outlets. They will start finding like the Aristas and the BMGs and the Interscopes that I've been a part of. You're going to see that they're going to start moving out of New York. Viacom, another one I worked for, they're going to start moving out of New York. They're going to be gone real soon. And I don't think they're going to return. I think they're not going to return, pure simple, because of the pricing. More people are working remotely now. More people are doing like I'm doing and getting online and starting their own thing. I always thank God that I had my reputation in the music business. I'm glad I had a reputation that I would say 80% of people felt that I was a likable person, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm seeing that by the calls I'm getting. People telling me, yo, I saw you online, son, you trending. You know, I think I got one video now that's got like, one of the 2 biggest ones I got, one of them's got like 132,000 views. That's the one I did in Manhattan, and I was talking about how Bad Boy wanted me to take down my video. And then another one that has something like subsequently 239,000 views this month. So that's 2 videos that I just have up there, have over 300-something thousand views, and you guys have shown your support and everything like that. But I want to make this clear. It doesn't mean that I'm not going back to the music business. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't accept another job in the music business. I want to make it very clear. This is what I know. This is what I've been doing 16 years since I was a kid. You know, I've been with that company. So I will say I'm making a transition. The transition I'm really making is the stuff that I've been working on as far as scripts. We're going to be doing some, believe it or not, comedy skits on here on this channel. So I want you guys to check them out. I actually employed a couple of my friends that I knew. They joined me along with them, so I think you're going to like them. But you're going to find more and more artists trying to find different ways to navigate through this new system that we have set up now. And that system is nothing what it once was. So we're all learning, especially if you're older like me. We're really relearning everything that goes along with the hip-hop industry. And a lot of the things that used to priorly be there, like, you know, the fuckery, you know, the contracts and everything like that, that'll still be there. Don't get me wrong. As long as it's something to sign, the fuckery will still be there. Please believe that. Somebody will try their best to implement some type of fuckery there to screw you out of a deal, to screw you out of whatever. But it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I know this because previously the system that we were put in, the previous caste system that was there, was implemented to us in a different age. You know, in our age, it was the CD, and then later on the digital revolution. So, you know, I lived through all, basically, yeah, 2 of them. I lived through the reinnovation of CD, and then I went to digital. You know what I'm saying? Now, another reason I think New York is dead for music, because once upon a time, you used to have places like Tower Records. You used to have places like Virgin Megastore. You used to have different places like that. And now these places have been closed for now well over 10 years. So the same people that once upon a time you would have seen at one time, yes, brother. The same people you would have seen at one time, you don't see those stores there anymore. Now, Virgin Megastore, that used to be exactly attached to our building, which is 1540 Broadway, has been gone for, I'm going to say, well over 8 years, if not longer. And what was put in this place was a Forever 21. A huge Forever 21, but a Forever 21. Now, anybody that lives in New York City, y'all remember that same Virgin Megastore. If you're over, let's say 30, 35, you remember that Virgin Megastore that used to be right there in Times Square. And everybody used to show up there. I mean, Rick Ross did his album Break there. Of course, Puff was in there. I met, who else? I met Method Man in front of Virgin Megastore. I met U-God in front of Virgin Megastore. Shout out to Radar Van, Wu-Tang. I met him in front of there. That's my partner right there. Shout out to Radar Van, Wu-Tang affiliate. That's my man for life. That's been my man for like 13 years right there. So Radar, if you see this, shout out to you. I can't tell you the countless artists just because of our association that I've met. Shout out also to Casanova. I got to meet Casanova right before COVID-19 started. Got nothing to say about that man, True Brooklyn. And Casanova, drop something on my goddamn Cash App, bro, if you see this. Because I know a lot of people are seeing me right now, and I'm getting back used to it. You know what I mean? I went like literally 9 months with nobody seeing my face. I was very quiet. I was in my depressed stage. You know, I'm trying to stay away from that right now. You know what I mean? And this vibe, but I definitely need to get out of where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? I just definitely need to leave here. This is not my vibe. It's a very unpleasant environment for me personally, with the exception of a few people, more so because of the pompous, obnoxious people that for some reason or another think they've made it in life. Well, I could take you 1 hour away from here and I'll wake you up to reality and show you really haven't done shit in your life if you want to play that game. You understand what I'm saying? I had a woman sit here and try to play me and try to get other people involved in something she has started, you know. So there's a lot of white supremacy, old school white values, racist white values, not white people, racist white values that exist here, you know. And they've been churned up since I've been gone, I noticed. And it's hard to avoid it. It's hard to see it. So, you know, a lot of people will say, well, if you're not going back to New York when this is all over to continue what you were doing and what you're doing, I'm not going to tell you exactly where I'm going, but I'm definitely headed the fuck up out here. You know what I mean? I will always love this place, don't get me wrong, and I will come back here and visit. I'll probably even one day maybe build a second home here, something like that, along with my development company that we started, which is digital and available for shipping container houses. I'm going to put the link back there because I shared the link the other day, and I guess a couple of you guys didn't see it, but the people that did see it and responded, thank you very much. I worked 2 years on that by myself, including the apps I had to find to actually put the shipping containers in a logical form where they could implement a home that was sustainable. You know, there's a lot of things you have to go through, a certificate of occupancy and things like that. My dad did this work. You know what I mean? So maybe it's him coming out of me. You know, I don't know. But one night I got an epiphany. I was watching some YouTube videos and I saw shipping container houses. I was like, easy, cheap to acquire. Only thing you need is a contracting company to come in and fucking finish the shit. I knew the whole procedure from seeing stuff that my dad had done. You know what I mean? So it wasn't hard to figure out. But I'll just probably be overseeing the whole project. The projects, most of them that I have, range from anywhere for completion from $40,000 to $90,000 to completion, depending if you want a 1-tier, 2-tier, 3-tier, a home that will maybe a little bit more extravagant than others with biometrics and you know, smart technology within the homes and stuff like that. We've got a plan for every last one of them. So the name of my company is the Lewis Arc Development Company. We're a development company. I'm not a house flipper. I know I'm talking about a lot of things, right? But I just wanted to talk about that more and more and more. And as these videos go on, I'll talk more and more about it. I would suggest that you start looking at where people are right now, what people are doing very clearly. Ask some questions. Ask people what they're doing as far as getting their music out there. Ask people as far as, I had somebody ask me what's the best way to get your music on the record, on the radio. I'll tell you, just like DJ Envy told us when we filmed him back in, what was that? I think that was January. We did DJ Envy at Power Moves Makers. And he said at that time, it's simple. Just get popping. I'm going to hear about you. Meaning, put your center right here on YouTube. YouTube music is ran by 2 specific people that I know. One of them would be Lear Cohen, and the other one would be Tuma Basa. Tuma, we just had Tuma at Power Moves Makers. I'm going to share that link for you too, so you can go check that out. And I'll also share the link for Revolt TV. But what's the name? Not only my boss, but Lightly and Leo were interviewed on Drink Champs. You know what I'm saying? And my boss, Sean Press, comes at the end and they do a whole interview on him. So it's chopped in half. Shout out to Nori, you know what I'm saying? Another person. So guys, I'll be putting that stuff up. Make sure y'all check that out. But Leor and Tuma are in charge of YouTube music. So if you know Leor Cohen, Leor comes from the music industry, more specifically Def Jam and Jay-Z and a host of other careers that he's been responsible for. And love him or like him or whatever, he's still there. So I think one of the reasons they hired Leor because of his history, but not only that, to make sure that this is navigated and controlled right. Leor is also in charge of 300 Entertainment, which some of your favorite rappers are signed to, including Young Thug and Meg Thee Stallion. So, guys, and I'm not sure if Meg is still over there. She might be at Roc Nation now, but I know she was under their management for a while, if anything. So I might be wrong about that one as far as her current is. Meg is not one of my favorite artists, so you have to excuse me if I don't know as much about her as I do about Thug or any of the other ones. New York, as it existed, is no more. I won't go as far as that author said and said New York is dead, but it definitely, the business that you knew and the paradigm that you knew that the business flew through at one point is no more. So it's now trying to find solutions as things get lifted and we get out of winter and come into next summer and find out what's the next move is going to be. And I think for many people, like myself, is going to other cities, exploring, see what's happening. You know what I mean? But go to specific cities that you know something is happening. Don't go somewhere like Idaho and feel like there's going to be a music scene out there. Be realistic. Go to Texas where they have festivals every year. Go to California, but make sure you go to Northern California more so than Southern California right now, because Southern California got a whole bunch of fucking problems. My sister lives out there in Modesto, and I'm trying to tell you, anywhere from, I'm going to say down from Oakland down, it's in bad shape. If it's not forest fires, then you're talking about the severe homelessness problems they have out there. If you're not talking about that, you're talking about the disease rate that's out there with STDs and every other kind of disease you could think of. LA is really in bad shape, and hopefully Gavin Newsom, he'll be able to fix that. But if he's not, I don't think LA is a place you want to be at anyway. And LA is a real dirty place. Every time that I went to LA, I always found LA more dirtier than New York. Believe it or not, you know, it's like a utopia. It's like a suburban city-ish utopia of trash. That's the best way I can put, you know, and anybody else has been in LA, they're probably gonna tell you the same thing. But I don't think the music business is coming back to New York City the way it once was. I don't think it'll be the go-to spot anymore. And if anybody tells you anything different, I would ask them this question. Okay, what do you have prepared?